Hey Falcons fans, are you worried that one injury could derail our promising 2025 season? Could the loss of Darnell Mooney expose a glaring weakness in our offense that we can't afford to ignore? That's the urgent question hanging over Atlanta as we come off our bye week. Welcome back to the channel, where we break down everything Falcons with fire and focus. Today, we're diving into a critical trade suggestion from Bleacher Report that could address a major hole in our roster: acquiring Las Vegas Raiders wide receiver Jakobi Meyers to step in as a reliable WR2. With Mooney sidelined and our passing game needing a boost, this would be the move that keeps our playoff hopes alive. Let's unpack this potential blockbuster and see if it's the right call for our team. Let's set the scene with some good news first. The Falcons just delivered their best offensive performance of the season, dropping 34 points on the Washington Commanders in a statement win before the bye. Michael Penix Jr. looked sharp, Bijan Robinson was a force, and both Drake London and Kyle Pitts made big plays. It was a kind of game that gets fans dreaming of a deep postseason run. But amidst the celebration, there was a dark cloud. Wide receiver Darnell Mooney went down with a hamstring injury. This isn't the first time we've dealt with this. Mooney missed all of training camp and the Week 1 loss to Tampa Bay due to injury. Since returning in Weeks 2 and 3, his production has been underwhelming, with just 7 receptions for 79 yards on 16 targets. Last year, he nearly hit 1,000 yards his first season with Atlanta, but 2025 has been a different story. Head coach Raheem Morris provided little clarity on Monday, saying, "I don't know anything about Mooney, except we'll have to see this week. Obviously, he went out yesterday with a hammy, so we'll see. I don't know how bad, but I don't think it's anything too crazy." That uncertainty leaves a big question mark over our receiving core. Here's why this matters. As Bleacher Report points out, the Falcons have a glaring issue with depth at wide receiver. Outside of London and Pitts, no other players recorded more than 7 catches, 16 targets, 79 receiving yards, or a single touchdown reception this season. We've leaned heavily on Bijan Robinson to drive the offense, leading the team in both rushing and receiving yards through the first 4 games. That's a credit to his superstar talent, but it also highlights how unbalanced our attack is. For a second-year quarterback like Penix, who's still finding consistency, the lack of reliable targets beyond London and Pitts is a massive hurdle. If Mooney's injury lingers or his production doesn't rebound, we're left with a gaping hole at WR2, a weakness that could stall our momentum just as we're starting to click. Enter Jakobi Meyers, the 28-year-old veteran currently with the Las Vegas Raiders. Bleacher Report suggests the Falcons should target Meyers in a trade, offering a 2026 fourth-round draft pick to secure him. Meyers is in the final year of a 3-year contract with Vegas, earning $10.5 million, and he's off to a strong start in 2025 with 21 receptions for 258 yards on 33 targets through 4 games. He's become the Raiders' go-to receiver in the absence of Davante Adams, proving he can handle a heavy workload. But with the Raiders struggling at 1-3, there's talk of them offloading veterans to make room for younger talent. Meyers himself reportedly requested a trade as early as Week 1, so he'd likely welcome a move to a team with playoff aspirations like Atlanta. Bleacher Report argues that Meyers would be the perfect WR2 to complement London, giving Penix a consistent, dependable option to elevate our passing game to elite status. Let's visualize how Meyers fits. At 6'2" and with a knack for precise route running, he's the kind of receiver who can win on short and intermediate routes, making him an ideal safety valve for Penix under pressure. Pair him with London, who draws coverage as our WR1, and Pitts, who stretches the field, and suddenly our offense becomes a nightmare for opposing defenses. Meyers isn't a flashy all-pro talent, but he's a workhorse. Since his rookie year with the Patriots in 2019, he's never had fewer than 700 receiving yards in a full season. That reliability could be the difference between a stall drive and a game-changing first down. For a team looking to help Penix take the next step, as Bleacher Report notes, sacrificing a mid-round pick for this kind of impact is a no-brainer. But let's weigh the risks. A 4th-round pick isn't cheap for a team already light on draft capital, and Meyers' $10.5 million salary could strain our cap space. There's also the question of whether he'd thrive in a reduced role as a WR2 after being the primary target in Vegas. And what if Mooney recovers quickly and returns to form? Do we risk overcrowding the receiver room? These are valid concerns, but the upside outweighs the downside. With the trade deadline on November 4th, the Falcons have time to assess Mooney's status, but waiting too long could mean missing out on Meyers to another suitor. If we're serious about contending, acting sooner rather than later to shore up this roster gap is the aggressive, forward-thinking move. Here's where I stand. I'm all in on targeting Jakobi Meyers. Our Week 4 explosion against the Commanders showed what this offense can be when it's firing on all cylinders. But losing Mooney exposed how thin we are at receiver. Penix needs more weapons to build confidence and consistency, and Meyers brings the kind of steady production that could push us over the edge. A 4th-round pick is a steep price, but if it means solidifying our playoff push, it's worth it. We can't afford to let injuries dictate our season. Let's get ahead of the problem and make a statement. As we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a challenge. Imagine Meyers suiting up in Falcons red, hauling in a clutch catch on 3rd down to seal a victory. That's the kind of vision that gets me hyped for this potential trade. But I need to know, do you think Jakobi Meyers is the answer to our WR2 woes, or should we trust in Mooney's recovery and save the draft capital? That's the debate I'm throwing to you. Drop your takes in the comments. Are you on board with trading for Meyers, or do you see a different path for the Falcons? I'm eager to read your thoughts. And if this breakdown got you pumped about the possibilities for our squad, smash that like button to show some support. We got more Falcons content on the way, so stay tuned. Until next time, let's keep the momentum going and rise up